You guys, mic's all right? Testing, 1, 2. Sounds good up there? Oh. That's part of my U of A background, my radio TV. I want to make sure you guys can hear. Testing, 1, 2, 3. All right. Some guys back there like, yeah, that's pretty cool. We get the sound right. You see? Yeah.
We'll go ahead and start.
Whatever.
Questions, comments for Kenny Lofton, our Ring of Honor inductee for today? Congratulations. What does this honor mean to you?
Again, this is an honor that was unexpected. And coming back to McHale and seeing those guys' names up in the rafters and just knowing how special this is with the U of A. And U of A is a program that when I came in 80, 85, 86, the team just flourished and we took off, and we felt like early on we had something special, and then we kept going forward, and then 88 we ended up getting to the Final Four the first time in the U of A history, and something that was very special.
How much does it mean to you being that team, the 88 team that really laid the path for what Arizona has turned into today?
Again, it felt very special to be a part of that. You know, it's something, I felt like in my life that whenever I try to get to a team, I try to do my part to help get to that level, and having an opportunity to be at a program that was almost kind of non-existent until that time in 88. It showed that Arizona basketball is on the map now, and ever since then it's been going.
What's your best Lute Olson story?
Ooh, I got a whole lot of them, but I think one of the best ones I would never forget is when Coach was coaching in practice. Never forget this. So we had a game where we had a couple mishaps on defense, and we was doing in practice. We was doing taking a charge drill, right? So we was doing taking a charge drill, and Coach Olson was telling Ricky Birdsong at the time, this is what you need to do. So you know how you run when a guy's coming down the line toward the baseline or toward the line, you step over the line to cut off the path. So Coach was showing it, and he was telling Birdsong, go this way, you're going toward the line, and let me cut you off. He cut him off, and boom, hit Coach, and he jumped up like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. That's how I was going. I'm like, dude, he just knocked him on his butt. And that was one of the things that we was like, Coach was serious about it. I didn't think he knew that Coach Birdsong was going to keep going when he was, going to the baseline. He knocked him right over, and he jumped right back up and said, see, this is how you do it. And when we saw that, we like, dude, if Coach can take a charge, we definitely going to be able to take a charge. Never forget that.
There have been many great multi-sport athletes. There haven't been that many guys who kind of took the path that you did, where you played one thing in college and then something else as a professional. How would you describe how that kind of all happened?
I don't know. It was just kind of weird. I knew the guy sitting over here, Clark Chris, was part of the baseball scouting that saw something in me. And again, I knew baseball was probably my future growing up. But again, where I grew up, I had to play basketball because of the full scholarship. I couldn't afford it part-time. So basketball became that. And I started missing baseball, and I asked them, can I come out and work out with the baseball team? Because I was missing it. And the path just kind of started. And, again, I'm going to always say I knew this was my path. After the Final Four, seeing the team, I knew you had Sean, you had Craig, you had Judd Bushler, Sean Elliott, Judd Bushler, Sean Rooks. I wasn't going to get no shots off. So I knew the opportunity for me to do so. I had to go to a different sport. I knew I could, this is not going to be my time. So I just say, let me go out there and just look at the baseball team and just work out. And Clark Chris back there, he saw something in me, and that was all she wrote.
How many games did you actually play in for the Wildcats?
To be honest, I don't know. I played some JV games, but I know I had one official at bat at the U of A. But knowing that the JV, seeing me on the little JV games, what I call them, the minor league games, so to speak, showed that I had some talent and I had some skills, but I was just rusty. And I knew eventually, knowing who I am and what I'm all about, I knew I was going to get myself to that next level because that was who I am as an individual.
Although you went on to play baseball. What lessons did you learn from Coach Olson that you carried with you throughout your professional career and now?
About me and about Lute Olson, it was a lot of teachable moments that he taught the game. And again, I'm always say that when Lute was during the game, he was always teaching. And that's what I learned from him is teaching, learning the game, and the little things can become major later, and you had to learn from them. He taught us a whole lot about the game of basketball.
How much are you able to follow University of Arizona basketball these days currently? And if so, what are your thoughts on this year's team?
I try to follow you. I'm a big U of A guy. So I mean, I felt that U of A gave me that opportunity to be where I'm at today, and I try to follow them a lot, as much as I can. And the team nowadays, I feel like I would love to speak to them about understanding the game and who you are. These guys have a great team. They just need to put it in their heart and their gut that we can do it. We have this squad. We got to go out there and show the college basketball world that this is who we are and we coming to get you. They got to have that toughness, that heart, that mindset that we are the best team out here and we're going to show you. That's what I'm hoping to see out of these guys.
What do you remember from 1988 North Carolina Elite Eight game?
Oof. I think again, people saw that North Carolina was the team to beat, and for us to go out there and beat them the way we did, people knew we had something special. They knew we were the team again. Once they saw that game, after they knew North Carolina was going to be the top team, and we kicked their butts like it was no tomorrow, and people were like, "Wow, this team is legit."
Any thoughts on the dissolution of the dissolving the Pac-12?
I have mixed emotions about it, but I had mixed emotions when they changed it from Pac-10 to the Pac-12. I mean, I wish they would have kept it like the Big Ten and kept it expanded. I wish they would have kept it at the Big Ten. I mean the Pac-10, because I love that name, the Pac-10. And they changed it, but again, in this day and age, it's all about money. That's no doubt, and about different conferences that's getting all the money and the best teams. Again, that's what it's surrounded around right now, and you just have to deal with the changes in life now. You just got to accept it and just kind of keep moving.
Do you think if you came up today that you would have been kind of pushed into one sport or another? Because it seems like that's what happens to them. They're playing one sport kind of year round a lot.
They are, but again, that's the younger areas. Right now, college, again, it's the same, but it is a little different. So you got to look at it as they're pushing it, but again, nowadays you don't have a lot of players staying all 4 years. So me coming in this situation, I probably would have still been a guy that stayed 4 years because I wasn't that Sean Elliott, that Steve Kerr, that Jupp Bushler, Tom Tolbert. I wasn't Sean Rooks. I wasn't that type of player. So it was a little different than it is, now. So who knows how that would have looked at in the two sports scenario. I don't know.
Do you feel like it benefited you to have played two sports? There was some crossover from one to the other?
I think it benefited, again, I'm going to always talk about discipline. It's all about discipline in the game and learning as much as you can. And I think I've learned a lot in basketball that it intertwined with both sports. And some of my baseball abilities, basketball helped that. People talking about you're jumping over the walls. Basketball had a lot to do with that. So if I didn't have the basketball ability I don't know if I would have been able to understand getting up over the wall and make it look so easy as I did.
For any multi-sport athletes who are undecided about what they want to pursue post-college, is there any advice that you give them just about what the mindset would be?
Well, nowadays with this NIL, it's hard to tell kids. They're going to go for the money, in which that is basically the bottom line of it all. You got to go for the money. But trying to decide which way to go, you got to figure out what you're good at and what you're best at. And that's how you're going to decide of which direction you're going to go, because you gotta look at your future. And I knew eventually, after playing basketball at the U of A, I knew having an opportunity to try it, that go a different direction. And I said, you know what, baseball is my direction, because I can show my individual talents on the baseball field. Basketball, it was kind of, you had that team, but once I gave the ball up, my talents were just kind of locked, sitting there. But in baseball, I'm going to always have that opportunity to step on the plate, step at the batter's box every 4 or 5 times a game. And I knew in the center field, I'd be there every single inning to have an opportunity to show my skills out in the outfield.
You cross paths much a lot with Terry Francona based on both with Cleveland, or I know different times.
Oh, it was a different time, but I think me and Frantona, we think we had that love-hate, because when I was playing against him, I made sure I tried to kick his butt. So, and he knew that. So when he saw me, he always gave me this little mug or push, because he knew I was doing my thing against him. And I never had a chance to be on the same team as him. I knew he knew I was on his team, because he knew what I brought to the table. But I think every time he sees me, he looks at me, that dang Kenny, So because he knew I had that fire to go out there and get it and do whatever I need to go. So we have that funny, kidding relationship.
How often do you get a chance to talk to your 88 Wildcat teammates?
Actually, all the time.
What are those conversations? What do you guys talk about?
Again, how the game has changed and how we had that bond, because we all, when you went to college, you knew you was going to be there for 4 years. So that bond grew close and close, because it was like a brotherhood. We still have again, it's funny how we still have a text chain that we are all on right now. So I can have those texts that these guys congratulated me on that text chain of what an honor for me to be a part of that. It was just special for those guys to tell me, he's like, finding you in this Ring of Honor and you deserve it.
Going kind of off of that, the success that Kerr has had with the Warriors, signed that new contract recently. Does any of that surprise you? Just going back to the college days, did you
Not at
always
all.
see him like that?
Not at all. I think the reason why I always tell people, the reason why the U of A, or we as the Wildcats, had so many timeouts at the end of the game, because Lute Olson used Steve Kerr as our coach on the floor. So we was always getting little huddles on the floor, and Steve was always spoke out, and he was the guy who basically told the team, this is what we need to do, and this is how we're going to basically do it. So we all knew Steve had that coach mentality in him, and we knew we all thought he was going to coach the U of A. We all thought he was going to be Lute Olson's, next coach behind him, because of what he brought to the table on the floor, and we all knew it.
When you were in the outfield in the majors, who was the one batter you look forward to coming up to the plate, knowing that you're probably going to make something happen?
A lot of guys. A lot of guys like to hit the ball in the gap. But again, one guy I probably was hoping he hit ball in my area was Ken Griffey Jr. Please hit the ball to me so I can make some catch, and then I'll talk trash to him after the game or whatever. But he was one guy, because Ken Griffey Jr., he made it look so easy. He did. It seemed like it was the natural, So anytime we had a chance to show the natural guy that, hey, I got you, he was the guy.
Time for one more.
Did you ever have spring training at High Corbett Field?
Yes, I did.
What do you remember about that? if anything?
Again, it was the picture that I saw. I think I showed somebody here. I remember me at High Corbett Field, and Lute Olson came out and saw me, and I still have that picture of him giving me the handshake. Somebody took a picture of that, and again, I think that made me feel very special for him to come out and watch me in spring training.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.